What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a special Thursday night edition of Monday Night Rants. A little late. I guess you need sound to make these things work. I didn't know that. Apparently, you need volume to make them work. So, we're going to start this again, and I'm going to kind of rewind and explain to everyone exactly what it was I was talking about when I did my previous one. What a game tonight that we had in the NFL. You know those games on Thursdays, you never know what to take from them. Normally they're like defensive because everyone's like 3 to 4 days of preparation compared to a full week. You got the Minnesota coming off a huge loss to Buffalo at home. And the Rams kind of going towards this win over the Chargers and staying home for a Thursday night, which is an advantage, to be honest. A huge advantage. They need to rethink these Thursday night scheduling games because you put the Chargers-Rams, so no matter where the Rams go, away or home, they're still home pretty much, right? They're in LA. And then you got the Vikings coming from Minnesota all the way over to LA by Thursday. Seems a little ridiculous to me. So you're going to try to do all that and still call it fair. I'm not saying the Rams didn't deserve the win. I mean, they handily look like the best team in all of football by far. I mean, you got the Rams here, right up here. And you got any other team that you could tell me. You name another team in the NFL. And they're down here. The Rams look like the team to beat in all of football. All of it. And it's been a while since I've seen a team this good, to be honest. Maybe since like the Vikings back in the day, or the Greatest Show on Turf, or even some of the best Patriots teams over the last couple of years couldn't beat this Rams team. And like I said on Monday on the show, the Chargers actually played a really good game and would have beaten a lot of teams in the NFL, but it was overshadowed by how good the Rams actually were. And we have to start thinking here that maybe they weren't too crazy to pick Goff over Wentz. I don't think they were that crazy anymore. Because the way Goff has been playing this year so far, 4 games in, I don't think Wentz had as good a 4-game spell last year. Not even close to what Goff has done the first 4 games of this season. 26 of 33 for 465. That's right, 465 and 5 touchdowns for Jared Goff against a defense that's supposed to be a top 3 defense. Not today. Todd Gurley still did his thing, 17 for 83, and also contributed 4 for 73 and a long scamper down the sideline, and also a touchdown that he looked like he was a receiver. Goff doing his thing, Gurley doing his thing. But also, like I said on Monday, how can you not start any one of these 3 receivers on any given day on your fantasy teams? Kupp, 9, 162, and 2 touchdowns. If you didn't start him, I'm sorry. Brandon Cooks, again, 7, 116, and a touchdown. Robert Woods, 5 of 101 and a touchdown to go along with Gurley's receiving touchdown. All 3 of those receivers you start every week. You just have to. You can't not do it. But also, the Vikings tonight. The Vikings. Any other team in the NFL, tell me, they would have not beaten tonight. It's like when you score 170 in your fantasy leagues matchup that week, but the only team that would have beat you scored 190. That's exactly what happened tonight. Kirk Cousins, 36 of 50, 422, and 3 touchdowns. Adam Thielen continues to do his thing. 8, 135 and touchdowns. Stephon Diggs, 11 for 123. The first time Stephon Diggs has out-targeted and received more receptions than Thielen this year. Man, any other team in the NFL the Vikings would have beat tonight. I guarantee it. I'm like the warehouse man. I guarantee it. What a crazy game, though. Supposedly 2 of the top, I'll say 5, but really 3 defenses in the NFL just gave up points like crazy. Man. And if you didn't have any one of these players, or you're like me and did not start Jared Goff in your fantasy league, because I didn't do it in 4 leagues. 4 leagues, Jared Goff was on my bench. Those 50 points seem awfully nice right about now. But no. I'll have to get them from Andy Dalton. Maybe Andy Dalton will go off and give me 45 to 50 points depending on your league standings. Just absolute pandemonium tonight. And I hate the Thursday games because it's like, it makes you change so much. It's like, can we just be like, okay, Sunday comes, we all have our starters, we know what's going to happen, boom, you know? But on Thursday, if like tonight happened, and it's like, okay, well, I'm going up against the guy who has Thielen and Robert Woods. They put up a freaking 50 spot on me, and I have to do something crazy. So it's like, man, I got to think now. I got to play someone off my bench who has a high ceiling, but a low floor, just to hope that maybe he gets 30 points just so I can contend. Welcome to fantasy sports. But man, the Thursday night games are nuts. Nuts. Tonight was nuts. By the way, Jared Goff, the first quarterback for the Rams since Mark Bulger. Yes, Mark Bulger has thrown for 5 touchdown passes in a game. Mark Bulger. Think about that for a second. They had the almighty Case Keenum on their team, and he couldn't even do it. Yes, that happened. But kudos to the Rams and McVay, who is the same age as me. True story. 32 years old. And absolutely showing everyone else up in the NFL at a young age. It's crazy. So what a game. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. I really did. I have Cooks in a lot of leagues. I have Stephon Diggs in a few leagues, which was nice. No Thielen, though. But I have Gurley in a few leagues, too, so it worked out. I do have Dalvin Cook in one league. So those 2 points that he got from his, as they call it, pitch count. Don't call it a pitch count in football. It's not a pitch count. He's not throwing the ball. Let's call it what it is. It's an attempt count or a rush count. 10 for 20. 2 yard per carry average. Pulled at halftime because they have a week and a half, an extra longer way. So he'll be fully healthy. So don't worry about him. But for all of you that had to play him, because obviously he's like your second round pick, just take it, bend over, and just take it as it would, Dalvin Cook owners, because that's what it was. You had to. You had to. Unless you draft really, really, really well and had some other crazy running back that you could have pulled out, You're not going to play Sonny Michel over Dalvin Cook. You know, you're not going to play Kerryon Johnson. Maybe you will after his 100-yard performance against the Patriots, but you had to play him. And man, really nothing there. Nothing there at all, to be honest. So, I mean, some guy named Rock Thomas. Yeah, and he's not a wrestler for the WWE. No, his name is Rock Thomas. He's a football player. Got a carry in the second half. I'm not saying that's why Minnesota lost. I guess they obviously need to keep on slinging that ball down the field to have a chance in this one against the Rams. 4-0. But what else can you do? The real story tonight, yes, the real story, isn't what's going on for the show, because the baseball season is about to end. Sunday marks the final day of the 2018 Major League Baseball season. It's just like yesterday. I was on this show, or not this show, but it was Friday night show back then, announcing to the world that I did not think that the Dodgers, with the injuries they had at the beginning of the year, were going to make the playoffs. I said they would not win the division. I said there's no way the Dodgers win the division. The games they're losing now will not be enough to overcome to win the division. And a couple weeks ago, that's all I got on my inbox. Facebook messaging, Twitter messaging. Everyone, oh, you're going to wear that ass clown outfit. You're going to wear that ass clown outfit, aren't you? Oh, the Dodgers, blah, 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 the Dodgers, blah, 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 blah. If you don't know, if you listen to one of the earlier shows from this year, I said the Dodgers would not win the division. I said I don't think they can pull enough wins together after the Seager injury and after the Kershaw injury to win the division. I think they just don't have it. And I said if they do it, I'll wear an ass clown outfit, as put together from the viewers. They put it on Facebook that I was wearing ass. I said, yeah, I'll wear a damn ass clown outfit. I don't care. So I'll wear the stupid outfit. So about a week ago, everyone's getting together. They're trying to put my outfit together. So it's pretty much what it comes down to. It's going to be what you would only say is a clown outfit that you would get at a spirit store or your local Halloween store shop. You know, like a cheap clown outfit, not like It from the movie or anything, but it's like, you know, like what you would scare kids just from being a normal clown at any given party when they're 5. With the whole ruffles and the stupid wig. And then my face would be painted, so it'd be white, you know, with my eyes. But the butt cheeks would be here and here, so, you know, the 2 butt cheeks. I'm trying to make it a family show. And my mouth would be pretty much the asshole, as you would. So it would be the asshole of the show. So Anthony wants to come on. So let's get Anthony on. So Anthony, call in, man. You know the Skype. You know the number. Call in, buddy. Let's get Anthony on the show, too, to talk about this ass clown affair we have going on here. So I'm going to text him right now, say call in. So everyone's like, you know, especially after the Manny Machado trade. Everyone during the Manny Machado trade was like, oh, man, you're going to be Manny Machado. They're going to win the whole thing. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, let's see what happens. But now we're looking at 3 games left in the season. They're down 1 full game to the Colorado Rockies. Now, you may think on paper, well, the Rockies are playing the Nationals, and the Dodgers are playing the Giants, and the Giants stink. But that's a rivalry. The Giants-Dodgers is a rivalry. You don't think the Giants would like nothing more than to kick the Dodgers out of the playoffs? Please. Every single one of those players, every single fan in that stadium is going to be cheering for the Giants to kick the Dodgers out of the playoffs. And the Rockies are at home against the Nationals, who have nothing to play for except maybe Bryce Harper's last 3 games in a Nationals uniform. So, who has the advantage, really? And the Giants even turned around everything so they can get Bumgarner to pitch one more time. They did on purpose. So the ass clownness of Monday Night Rants looks slimmer and slimmer every day. That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, sorry, that wasn't even loud enough. Let me get some DMX in here for that. That's right. So DMX even agrees that maybe my prediction was right. And I'm going to say this too. What do you think, DMX? That's right. I'm going to say this too. I'm going to say that when this all started back in the beginning of this whole thing, I said they're not going to win the division. You have to give me some credit. They're down by 1 game with 3 games to go. And during that time on their losing streak, without Kershaw, without Corey Seager, still don't have Corey Seager, maybe if they would have won 2 more of those games or 3 more of those games, we wouldn't be having this discussion. The Amazon package would already be arriving. The face makeup would already be put upon me. But no, they didn't. Because those games in the beginning of the season are just as important as these games now, even with Manny Machado. And I hate to break it to you, Dodgers fans, but Manny Machado is not going to be on the team next year. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. He's going to get paid by an AL team. Paid. So all for none. Because no NL team is going to beat an AL team in the World Series this year. Not going to happen. You tell me an NL team is going to beat the Cubs, the Braves. I'm sorry. An NL team is going to beat the Astros, the Indians, or the Red Sox. No. No. The Cubs are struggling to put away the Brewers, who made a wild card, who have a good team themselves. But I'm looking at all these teams in the NL. I couldn't even name you the ace pitcher on any of them. Braves. Teheran? Newcomb? Cubs. Ooh. Rough. Quintana's been terrible. They picked up Cole Hamels. He's been terrible. The Brewers. The Rockies. The Dodgers have Kershaw. That is it. Astros. Loaded. Loaded. Verlander. Cole. Indians. Kluber. Red Sox. Sale. Yankees. Perdomo. It's going to be rough for any of the NL teams to have a pitching staff that just can go 3 games with any of these AL teams. It's going to be a long, long, long year. Let's get Anthony involved here. Hold on one second. It's going to be a long year. It's going to take a miracle for any of the NL teams to beat any one of the AL teams and yeah. So maybe somehow the Athletics win the wild card game and move on. They're not going to. They don't have the pitching staff either. So it's really going to come down to that and that strictly. So baseball this year really comes down to who's going to win the World Series, the Red Sox, the Indians, or the Astros. End of story. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been known to be wrong before. So we'll just have to see. So this week, you're probably looking at your fantasy football rosters and going, man, I am. Just from seeing the game tonight, I'm sure everyone has every one of those players, except for that one guy from Minnesota, Robinson, which I'm sure will be the Calvin Ridley pickup of the week, just because people do that, which I don't understand. Calvin Ridley is a good receiver. He's not going to do this consistently. He's going to be one of those guys that goes off one week and the next week he's 1 for 7. And that's just the way it is. So take it as you would. If you have him, there's never been a higher time to trade Calvin Ridley right now. Trade him to some believer who thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Not this year. But I guarantee you he's going to be one of the most inconsistent receivers the rest of the year. Inconsistent in a good way. Where he'll go 20 points, 3 points, 20 points, 4 points, 30 points, 5 points. Type of. And that's the way that the offense really is for the Atlanta Falcons anyway. Really. Even when Devonta Freeman was that good, when he had all these points, if you actually look at his game log, it was obscured by one game where he had like 3 touchdowns and 200 yards. In the next game, he did nothing. And then he had a good game again. So Devonta Freeman has never been that consistent. Tevin Coleman just blew his chance to be a starter last week, as far as I'm concerned. And, that whole offense is just scary when it comes to fantasy production, because there's one week where they're fantastic and the next week they're just zero. But, there's teams like, New Orleans or the Chargers, or teams that are consistently, where everyone consistently scores anywhere from 10 to 20 points every week. Those are the teams that you want to target. So if you have Ridley, my best advice to you now, before this weekend even starts, trade him. Trade him to a believer. Trade him to anyone that thinks he's the next Julio Jones, if you would. Because it's probably going to end up being the way that the cookie will crumble. So, there you have it. I guess Anthony's not coming on. He was going to come on. He did not come on. So, you know what? Every year in football is a new year, like a new beginning. I know a lot of people play dynasty leagues and stuff like that where it matters. And I just did a hockey draft earlier tonight. And in other sports, there's no crazier anomaly than hockey or basketball, really. Maybe some baseball. Where a player can have a year that is so absolutely crazy good that nobody drafted. Where it's like whoever picked him up is probably going to win their leagues, and that team that has him is probably going to benefit from it. Hockey is the perfect example, because there's one year where, there's only like maybe 10 players who every year, the Crosbys and the Ovechkins of the world, that every year are consistently a top 10 player. And I've noticed this year, and last year I kind of noticed this too. Football is even crazier when it comes to that. Because there's so little games in football. You play 16 if you don't make the playoffs. And your schedule in football means everything. who you play at home, who you play away every year determines how good of a player you're going to be that year. It's absolutely insane. So think about that for a second. If you're a team or a player that plays 10 of the top 20 defenses from the year before, you're probably not going to have as good a season that year than you would the year prior or the year after. Because where you place depends on your schedule. So looking at who's doing what after 3 weeks or 3 weeks in one game, I'm going, man, this is the same thing that happened to me last year. I'm looking at these players, quarterbacks, Andy Dalton, who did the same thing before he got hurt, by the way. I'm going, man, it's crazy. By the way, never draft high for a quarterback. If this year's proved nothing, except for the crazy Drew Brees anomaly of 2 rushing touchdowns, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. Those are probably 4 of the top 5 quarterbacks drafted in your league. Ryan Tannehill has more fantasy points than all those guys. Yep, I did not hiccup. I said Ryan Tannehill. Joe Flacco. Each year is different. Each year is different, and you never know what you're going to get. And as much as drafts are fun and important, it's just a foundation for the whole year. So look ahead. Look ahead. Right now we're on week 4. You already know who you're going to play week 4. Look at week 5. Look at week 6. See what you have. See who they're playing. See who's available. Be the guy with Calvin Ridley that can trade him instead of the guy looking for Calvin Ridley. That will change the way you look at the whole season on your fantasy team. The way I look at mine. Last year, I looked ahead to the playoffs in all my leagues. I went to the playoffs in all my leagues. Won half of them. Look ahead. Not last week. That's the best advice I can ever give you. Doesn't matter what defense you have playing this week. Doesn't matter what kicker. This week's already in stone. You have a bench. Use them to your advantage to prep for next week before everybody else does and before all the waivers happen. Because on Sunday morning, everyone's on waivers. But if you already have the guys for week 5, you've already won week 5. Same with week 6, 7, 8. And then you got to look at your starters. Look at all the starters you have, the guys that you would play on a non-bye week situation. Look at their playoff schedule or your league's playoff schedule. Who does he play this playoffs? Man, David Johnson has a tough playoff schedule. Trade him. Trade him for 2 players who don't. Think ahead. Win ahead. And always remember to spay and neuter your pets. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on Monday night after what should be a great, fantastic week 4 as everybody is playing catch up to the game that happened tonight. So go Rockies, go Chargers, and go Monday Night Rants. Boom.